Hello YouTube, got another one. So I'm finally getting somewhere. I'm on the last couple hours of testing really before I'll have my application out. So I'm currently making a Squash FS again. So I've had to remove the exclusions list for the folder mount and also for the folder boot. So all of the stuff that's in the boot folder stays, and also we need the mount folder. So that when we actually boot an ISO, which I currently don't have, I must have just deleted that. When you boot the ISO, you need to come to my application, which is currently being used, so we're going to have to open another one. And then we need to go to here, and there's a new button called Configure Install, which has 3 new buttons. One being Mount ISO, which will mount the ISO after you've booted into it. Then we configure Calamares, which basically copies a unpack.config file to the Calamares directory so that it knows where the AirRoot FS is, which will be in the mount, since our ISO will be mounted in the mount folder. And then we also have the Start Calamares button, which will basically open a console, then you type your password in, and Calamares will open. So if you know how to configure Calamares and edit Calamares and all the artwork, then that's down to you. Probably won't be adding that into this application just yet, although it will be an option that I'd like to add in the future. At the moment, I just want to get the basis of the application working, so I know for a fact that I can boot into the ISO, I can run a command to mount the ISO, and then I can use, I can change the unpack config in the Calamares modules, and then I can install the Squash FS. Now, obviously, I've had to remove the exclusions list for boot and mount because we need all of these folders to be in the Squash FS. So this will be what your system is using to boot your system. Obviously it's not hard to obviously know these things. It don't take a scientist to work out these things. Well, obviously I had this as an exclude, so it wouldn't copy these files. Now obviously the init RAM FS needs to be generated. Where is my face? Let me get this out of the way. This file here needs to be generated, otherwise it's not going to work, it'll be corrupt. So them files are generated just before the Squash FS is being made. So currently they are already generated, and we're just copying. So I've added some new functions into the Squash FS creator. So now you can create a cloned backup of your system into a folder. And if you wanted to keep that for safekeeping, please be aware that there is symlinks and loads of, how can I put it, there's fragile files in this folder. So if you was to zip it, you would most likely break these symlinks and these fragile files. So I wouldn't suggest compressing these files, since we have to have an exclusions list and a specific command, so that all of the permissions, the symlinks, there's no duplicates of the file and everything else when you're actually putting it into a folder, and also when you're creating a Squash FS. If you didn't do it with this method, then you would break all of the system files, the symlinks and everything else, and it just wouldn't boot, and of course you would have half your files working, if not none of them. So anyway, we've got a new option, so you can make a clone system folder, and then you can, if you wanted to, you could use that clone system folder at a later date to then create a Squash FS, which is what I'm doing now because I've had to change the code in the Squash FS creator. It's version 102. I'm not going to keep changing every version every time I add something to it. This is the new version that's coming out, and basically we've got these new options now. Now I did yesterday, I'd done some testing, and one of these options, well, I'm pretty sure LZ4 option didn't work and the LZ0 option didn't work. I did have a fix, but for some reason when I changed a lot of stuff to do with this Squash FS creator, it broke something and I was having an SBin problem. Now I went back to the original update I had, which would have been this with the 3 options, because this is a new update, and obviously I added some new things into it. and it worked fine. So now I've used that, and I've, instead of, because I basically removed the exclusions list, I'm pretty sure, from the SquashFS creation, which would have basically broke it. So that broke it. I've gone back to the original, obviously. I should have known this when I'd done it. I went back to the original. I've not added that in there. There's no point doing that. I might as well just leave it as it is. I've added an extra option to clone from a folder that's already created, so you can do that. It will not. It also now will not delete your clone system folder. So the folder that's actually generated during the cloning process is actually kept in the applications folder. So this will not delete. I may add an option to delete that. But for the meantime, at the end of the day, I just want to get the functions working. So obviously I missed out the boot stuff in the last video, and I also had to add some additional things to make this work in on a machine. So I will also be changing well, you can change it yourself actually, to be honest. If you go to the build image, you can change the ISO Linux so that it doesn't copy to RAM. And one of my old versions of this ISO creator actually uses the normal Arch boot. So like you'd get the Arch logo and a boot without copying to RAM. And I'm pretty sure you can change that somehow. I could add these additional files into like a new folder for people that want to use that setup instead of this setup. I mean, I'm not too fussed, to be honest, copy to RAM or whatnot. At the end of the day, it's not going to copy to RAM, I'm pretty sure now, because I don't know how to put it. It hasn't got the function to put it in the run Arch ISO. So it'd be /run/Arch ISO/boot_mount. It doesn't actually go to that directory. I haven't overlaid this, so we're not doing the overlay method of doing this. We're doing it the basic method. We're going to clone the system into a folder, and then we're going to boot the ISO after the ISO is created, and then we're going to manually mount the ISO on once you've booted, should I say. And obviously then we don't need the overlay. Of course, as well, I've realised that with Penguin's Eggs, when you generate an ISO, you get 2 SquashFS files. With this setup, you only need one. So say if you had a 7GB system, say if you had a 13GB system, because some of my systems used to be 13GB. Spitfire is a prime example, which I will be making a lot smaller soon. It's all down to flat packs, and I'm getting rid of all the flat pack stuff of that. I'm rebuilding it from scratch. You obviously will be using this tool. So if you have a system that's say around 13GB, and when you make an ISO it's going to be around about 4 or 5 GB, the SquashFS is the 4 or 5 GB. Now, being that obviously using Penguin's Eggs, he uses 2 of them SquashFS files. So one of them SquashFS files will be in the live directory, which is here. One of them will be here, and then one of them will be here. So he's obviously compressing it somehow so that them 2 files become only half the size, which would be the normal size of your SquashFS. I don't know how he's done that, but I've removed the need for having 2 SquashFS files. You only need one, and the file's going to be generated here in the directory that it needs to be, and it's going to be of course called airrootfs. airrootfs.sfs. This is what's needed for Arch to boot, and I did mention in my last video, you can now change the boot artwork. So if you was to change this photo here to whatever photo you wanted, it would change. You can also change the text, so that's down to you whether you want to change the text or not. I've added the option into the application, so you can actually do that. And I've got a lot of things open at the moment. It doesn't help that this application works by different, well, that's actually generating the thing. The application works by buttons, so we've got one button set up open, then it's going to open another one, then we've got all of this open. So it's like, it's a bit irritating, but this is how I've set up the application. I like the UI of it. It looks pretty nice. I haven't got my photo there at the moment because the photo's not actually in this directory, but we've got all these new, obviously we've got all these new options. You've got the configure options. You can configure the grub, and this will open the grub in here. Let me just close this. So this will actually open the grub in Kate, and you can edit it so like well, this would be your normal grub, I believe. The thing that you want to be editing for the ISO when it first boots will be here. So we're going to open this up. This is what you want to be editing when the ISO first boots. You can change the label, you can change the saying. You're going to need to keep the Arch ISO label as 2024. This is what I've now created so that the tag for the ISO is 2024. That's the year that we're in. Next year will be 2025. It's also the password for my distributions. But I don't currently set passwords for this. There is no password generation for this. When you clone a system into a folder, your setup, your user, your password is all kept into that folder. I do not specify a password for your account or create a new account or add any files additional to your setup. Your cloning is what you're cloning. You want to make an ISO, you want to make an ISO. That's the fundamentals of this application. I don't want to be making something and adding stuff that you're not going to enjoy. So I'm making it easier for you to create an ISO. This is not for making distributions like Penguin's Eggs is. This is just to make a general backup of your system into an ISO so you don't have to download the packages through Arch ISO. So if you were to make an Arch ISO like we've got Alki Linux, we've got Kali Linux, we've got X0 Linux. They've got their own installers that download packages and create an ISO based on the packages that you specify. Now this is completely different. We go by backing up the system. We don't download packages. If you've got no internet, you could, to be honest, I've got no problem with downloading packages. It's just not efficient. You know, at the end of the day, you want to be updated. Fair enough. That's all good by me. You know, but I'd much rather have an offline ISO I'm able to install at any given time of the day. If anything goes wrong, I can just install it. I don't need internet. That's the main thing. Because if shit hits the fan, this is obviously my YouTube channel. If shit hits the fan, I'm not scripted either. Then of course, if shit hits the fan, and you have no internet, then what are you going to do? Because you're going to obviously need internet for them resources to work. Now this here, you do not need internet. And like I said, I'm not adding anything else other than what's in your system. So this is generally an Arch ISO creator from your system. And the only option is going to be that you can clone your system into an ISO and install it on another operating system. Now some of the ways that I'm doing it are different to others. And that's down to the fact that I want to do it my way, and some things are easier doing it my way, doing it the way that I've done it than others are doing it. Of course, you got to look at it like this, you know. I am who I am. I'm learning what I learn. I'll do the things my way. I don't copy everyone else. I'm not a sheep. I'm a goat. I'm born in January. My birthday is 12th of January, 1997. So I'm 27 years old, going on 28. I've been doing this for 2 years now. I was a noob. I was a Windows user, just like Chris Titus Tech. Chris Titus Tech has got a big name for himself. I do like some of the things that he's created. I try not to fork people's stuff, although I have in the past. I haven't forked any of their stuff. I will say that, you know, I did generally say I haven't forked anything to do with this project. The only thing that I have forked really and truly is the exclusions list and this live folder right here, which is needed to generate the initram FS. They're the only two things I've forked. And of course, I needed to do some research or whatever else, you know, how to do this, how to do that. I've been trying to do this now for nearly the best part of 4 months. I put it to rest. I laid this project to rest around about 3 months ago. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I come back to it. I had a bit more information and I just tried and tried and tried. And here we are today, you know. And I'm talking about, you know, being probably about 3-4 hours away from having my application up on the internet, and I'm happy that I've got to where I am right now and learnt the things that I did. You know, of course, some of the things that I'd much rather it be more user friendly, like Penguin's Eggs. So when you boot an ISO from Penguin's Eggs, it directly boots in. The ISO already reads, and you can just directly install it. But we've got some complications because of course, not knowing the right things. And to be honest, I just feel that the way that I'm doing it somewhat is better for my needs anyway. I'm not trying to compare myself to Penguin's Eggs, although I am in the same seas, you know. Penguin's Eggs, Remaster, Refractor, Sister Back and Father Noptics are all on the all on the same line of applications. You know, they all do similar things. They create ISOs depending on whether you're doing it from a USB, a live system, or, you know, even Arch ISO is a similar tool as well, to be honest. But, you know, the fundamentals of my application is based on Penguin's Eggs. So it's you can, I haven't really used Remaster. I'm pretty sure SystemBack is a system cloning tool as well for Ubuntu, is it? And FireEye is a live USB backup. Now, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Not many people comment, when they do, they complain about my Discord server, which I haven't got for my Linux distributions. I'm not making a Discord server for Linux distributions. You go on my website, I've got a Telegram, which nobody's going to hasn't followed anyway. At the end of the day, if you don't follow it, that's fine. You can just watch my videos if you want. But at the end of the day, I'm sailing the 7 seas like Penguin's Eggs, Remaster, Refractor, SystemBack, and FireEye. I'm definitely I'm definitely one of the biggest names out on the internet right now to do with this tool. Once this tool is finished, I will be, if not top of the list, I'd say second from top of the list, if not third. And that's down to the fact that, you know, there is nothing like this out there. There is not one tool apart from Penguin's Eggs that I know of that will do this. And of course, he does it. Perio, the owner, and the developers have created it to do it a different way. It's a console tool. This is a Qt6 C++ application. So, you know, you can't get none of the scripts. Once this is out and the update is out, you will not be able to fork any of the project, apart from a few files that to do with the configuration. The actual script itself to create and generate everything is in binary. So, you know, you can have a jolly good time trying to fork that, and that's what I'm all about, you know, because the research and time that I put into this project is just not worth giving people the code to fork. It's not. It is what it is. You know, I'm sailing the 7 seas. You expect me to give you my treasure, and it's not going to happen, you know. And I'm being nice about it in the nicest way possible. There is some things that I would like people to improve on, like my YouTube downloader. There's another one. So if I go to here, I've got the most stupidest name on the internet. And I've got my reasons for it. So if we actually go here, if we come here, if I go on the Play Store, to be honest, it is the best way to put it. The internet is absolutely rubbish. I'm running through a USB that likes to disconnect, so that doesn't help. I'm not making a lot of money on the Pling Store. I'm actually making a fire on the Pling Store. Well, last month I did it, and that was the first month I've made money, that amount of money. So I would normally get around about £2, and to be honest, that money is going towards Chris Titus Tech. I actually sponsor Chris Titus Tech. So we got a YouTube downloader, and I'm not too sure of anyone's message because I actually don't check my GitHub. I don't check my GitHub. But this is one of the projects that I started and thought this is pretty cool, and I've provided the code. So this is an unofficial YouTube player and downloader. You will need Qt6 and this package for this to work. Please make sure you have them installed. You can sign in, which is what I just added, but the problem is when you close the application, it won't save the sign-in details. And I'm not too sure what that is. Like I said, I'm not a genius, I'm working on it. So I've provided the code. The code for this application is on GitHub. You can come here, you can fork it, make your own version of it. Obviously someone's watching this, myself. Nobody has put anything, no one's forked it. I've put on here an app to use YouTube and download videos as MP3s or MP4s. So that would be MP3 sounds or MP4 videos. I cannot get YouTube to keep sign-in info or cookies. If you can contribute, please do, because I'm doing everything from a bot. Now, of course, Bash scripts is easy. I'm not really good at complex Bash scripts, but I know I know a lot of Bash, should I say, and that's how I built my distribution and the buttons and everything else, and how the taskbar works. I had to learn Bash. I actually contacted a few KDE devs to make the KDE better, and asked how to do this and how to do that, and got some information. So they did kind of help me as well, and that was to do with the overview. So the overview button, the command, I needed the command for the overview button since there wasn't a widget to actually, there wasn't an overview widget that would allow me to do what I needed to do. So anyway, the code is on here. You can come on here. It's exactly the same code that's being used in the app image that I do provide, and if you're able to edit this code and make it better so that the cache and that the sign-in details stay once you close the application, then I'm all for it. It might just be that the binary, well, to be honest, I did do my test. I don't think it is the binary, I don't think it's been set up correctly to do that. But at the end of the day, yeah, the binary file obviously gets generated, then we put it into an app image. Well, so I've had some problems with doing that in the past with some of my applications, although I do feel that that wouldn't cause an issue here. I generally think it's something to do with the code. And of course we've got the main CPP, we've got the Pro, so that it tells you what you need. There is a license. At the end of the day, I could close source this right now, so I'm only using packages. You know, you download them packages, my code is my code. You can't copyright code because at the end of the day, I'm the one that made it. You know, it's not like you're going to put 2 and 2 codes together and say, right, oh no, he's copied that off of someone else. If I did copy that off of someone else, I'm going to say it straight away. But this is my own project. I actually sat there and built this from scratch. I do a lot of that as well, as much as obviously forking other people's projects like I have in the past, which I don't like to do at the end of the day. You know, there's a lot of people out on the internet are doing a lot better things than I'm doing. I'm learning, I'm doing what I believe is right going forward, and that's me, you know. So back to the ArchISO creator. Of course, we've got the new UI, we've got new information. You can generate an init RAMFS if you really wanted to. I'm pretty sure it does that during the process anyway. You can copy the VM lineage if you really wanted to. You can change the boot artwork, like I said now. So you pick a file and it's going to put it into that ISO Linux folder and call it Splash. You can run it in a QEMU now. So if I had an ISO, which I currently don't, and that's down to the fact that I've reinstalled my system and I just deleted the ISO file that I did have because I wanted to make the system a little bit smaller. You can run the ISO in the QEMU, but you can't install it because I haven't set up a QCal2, and also I don't think the graphics is set up either for the QEMU. So when it loads on my system, I do get some sort of graphical issues, but at the end of the day, you know, there is room for improvement. I've been at this now since I had this application, at least as a basis that I could boot an ISO, because that's the problem I had the last time. I did say in my first ever video of creating this application that the problem, might even be the second, the problem I had when I first started is that I tried to generate a Squash FS, and when I turned it into an ISO, it wouldn't boot. But this time I had a Squash FS and I went backwards on myself. So from a Squash FS, I turned it into an ISO and it booted, and that's what I was happy with. And then I worked my way backwards. So now you create a Squash FS and then you put it in an ISO and it boots. So that there is a big accomplishment for myself. It took a lot of studying, a lot of hours, and I really ain't getting paid for any of the work that I'm doing apart from, you know, obviously the Pling store. We can go on the Pling store and we're looking at, you know, obviously what I'm getting. I don't get a lot of money. I'm not trying to get money off of people really. It would help me and keep my electric bill, you know, down and keep my machines going, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. I'm doing what I'm doing out of free will. It is fun for myself. I do make GTA mods. I used to make GTA mods that I used to charge people for, but at the end of the day, you know, time's going on, and well, I'm looking to try and make some money somehow at some point, but it won't be on my ISOs or, you know, things like this really. I don't want to be charging people for free things. You know, you think, we can download his distribution through ArchISO and set it up from all of the files and everything else that he's created. That don't work because it's not been updated for a year. X0 Linux, wink wink. And then obviously charge you for ISOs that are pre-built. I don't agree with that. At the end of the day, X0 Linux is a good distribution. I actually used some of his stuff back in the day. I did fork it, I will be honest, but you can't be charging people for ISOs now. It's just mental. If you are paying for it and you do like X0, it's fair enough. But at the end of the day, you know, my biggest issue is you're charging for something that's completely free. You know, you should be asking for some sort of support and donation towards the project, instead of just outrightly being upfront saying that you've got to pay for it. So if we come here and we just look at what I'm making at the moment, so if I actually go to my payout, I've got nothing to hide. I'm 27 years old, living in near enough Manchester. This is what I do. So like here, so say I made $7. Say if I made $14 off of the Pling store, I would in return get £2.73. So I'm actually getting a lot more than I did last time this month, which is pretty good, to be honest, and doing well with myself. Last month I got that much, and if we go down the list, then we're going to see I've got less, and probably less and less money. So I'm not actually making a lot of money off of what I'm doing. I'm doing what I'm doing for fun, because this is what I do. I haven't got a job. I would never really change what I'm doing. I'm not going to change my day job or change what I'm doing. You know, this is what I've been doing for the last 2 years. Of course, I'm part of the modding community, so I make mods. I modify things, customize things. That's why I like KD so much you can customize. Yeah, and I've been part of the modding community now for 7 years going. So you know, I'm not going to change what I do. I'm a modifier. You know, I'm part of the modding community. This is what I do. Of course, making Linux distributions, you probably say, oh, well, but you know, just because you're part of the modding community, making a Linux distribution is a big task, whatever else. But I've been doing it for 2 years. I've been studying for 2 years. I'm talking to the CachyOS developer today because one of the people in the unofficial CachyOS group, which is like the Back Home Poland group, it's got the main developer in it, which I did message, and you can go on the internet and verify it is him because that's his account. If you go to the main CachyOS Telegram as well, you'll see he's on there as well. And I've had to message him now a second time and tell him the fix to get the AMD GPUs to work on his distributions. And if we go here now, this will make you laugh. He said to me, we need to make a distribution together. And I wonder why that is, because this is now the second time I've tried to help him doing something like this. Of course, I've made my distributions for AMD GPUs. I had a problem myself. I've been building KD Dev and KD Beta from source since 6.1 was a thing. Before 6 was even a thing. I was building the KD Beta 6.0 before it was even out. Before Qt, most of the Qt backends were already built. So like you'd still have Qt5 backends for the taskbar and things, and then it changed over, which is what caused problems for my distributions, why I couldn't create my taskbar at the time. I had to wait months. Anyway, here we're going here, we're on here, and I'm telling them, you know, here's the packages that I've used. If you really want, you can download my ISO, and I built my ISO, obviously, for people that are running AMD GPUs. It don't matter what AMD GPU you run in, it can be an AMD APU or a GPU, it don't matter what brand, what model, they will all work on the same drivers, I believe. Anyway, I never had any issues. I had an RX 480 8GB before my CPU went to dust basically. I didn't have a Rave cooler, and that was really quite upsetting, to be honest. But anyway, this is one of the developers, if not the main developer. I'm pretty sure he is the main developer, and he's going to directly said to me today, this is me. No, we'll just put a love art on that. This is me, obviously, and he's obviously said we need to make a distribution. I'm trying to help a friend or a person called Tyler who's having AMD GPU issues. I said, you know, obviously these are the main files that I did install, which were XF86 files. Where did I say that? I did say it as a simple fix. Here, yes, I said, I'm sure it's XF86 packages you're missing, my bad. And that's down to the fact that, you know, obviously I did build my Arch ISO from Arch install from the get-go. So from Arch install, I installed KDE, what they believe is KDE the KD set up. Then I installed everything else I believe should be part of the system, which would have been packages that are missing, such as like if we go to, I even went on the Arch KD dev. Now I even talked to the washing machines in the background. I spoke to a couple of the Arch devs and they even said that this isn't needed. But I'm like, well, why is it a dependency then? Why is it not being installed? So if we actually go here, we're going to look at a dependency for the Linux Zen kernel. And we're going to see, under dependencies, we have Python Sphinx. So if you really want to spend the time to download an Arch ISO and install Linux Zen and KD Plasma, it doesn't really matter if you don't install KD Plasma, but if you used to install Linux Zen, I will tell you now 100%, and I know this for a fact, that you will not be installing Python Sphinx, which is apparently a dependency as you see on the screen, but for some reason they don't install it. Now, of course, they're telling me that it's not needed. Okay, fair enough. But I'm still going to install it anyway because it does say that it's a dependency, whether you say it's not needed or not. I have it on my system. Funny enough, I have all the packages that I have on my system because this is what I used in this chat to help these people. Not too sure who's this message now. So anyway, we've got files here. We've got installed packages. We've got packages.shush. I'm a very friendly dev. I like to help people. I'm not in this business, or yeah, I'll call this business, should I say. I'm not into what I'm doing just for myself. I'm here for other people as well. So here's the files that I actually gave him, and these are all the packages that I actually installed in my Arch ISOs. So every single Arch ISO has the same packages. Even Mustang, they all use the same packages. Of course, systemd is not one of them, and Flatpak, so we can already tick that off. You know, we know systemd is not usable with Mustang because it's an OpenRC respin. No, it's an Alpine respin. I don't even need to call it OpenRC. As soon as you mention Alpine, it's not Alpine. It's the Artix. Sorry, I get confused because I've got an Alpine version as well, which is obviously Alpine. But when you mention Artix, you already know it's OpenRC. And when you mention Alpine, you already know it's OpenRC, which is why I renamed my ISOs and what the distributions were called. It had such a stupid name. So we had like Mustang, Alpine, KDE Gamers Edition, OpenRC. There's no point adding OpenRC to it because Alpine is OpenRC and Artix is OpenRC. So they are respins of these distributions. Of course, there's no other respins of Artix right now. I'm the only one doing it. You know, Artix is one of the best, you know, but they've got so many problems with their ISO. I basically made it what it should have been. You know, you can install it, you can use Wayland. In fact, my aim is to get this application that I'm creating right now finished and then create my Mustang Arch ISOs again. Of course, I had plans to do KD Neon. I've lost a lot of things off of my USB, so I'll have to do that again slowly but surely. There is no rush, really. There's no rush. If anyone does message on here to say, please do the KD Neon, I'll do it tomorrow. But nobody's telling me to do it, so I'm doing it out my own free will. I've got KD Neon on one of my machines right here, right now. Get this out of the way. I don't want to be showing. So I do smoke weed, I'll be honest with you. So on this machine here, I've got KD Neon, and on this machine here, which is what I'm using Arch. And that's because that top machine doesn't run Arch. It's a very good machine, it does work, you know. It does what it needed to do, so I will be building KD Neon on there. I need to get a separate screen. Yeah, I'm not making no money on the internet at the moment. We could go on to my PayPal, but there really is no need. Like at the end of the day, you've seen the pling. At the end of the day, that's where my money comes from. Where else would my money be coming from? Most of my applications are on the Pling store. So we're obviously looking at a long video here, 34 minutes. I don't know if I'm losing subscribers. I'm pretty sure I had a few more subscribers, but I want to get back to advertising my distributions. So once I've actually got this Arch ISO creation tool finished, the plan is to start advertising a bit more. and get my, well, to be honest, I want to finish off my distributions to a state where I feel I can advertise them. So that would be like changing the Calamize artwork again like I used to, because at the moment I've been focusing on just getting ISOs out that work, and obviously I had a problem with my Arch ISOs not installing because of not having the right setup to install it. So that would be like obviously the fact that the AirRoot FS was being copied to RAM instead of boot mount, and Calamize didn't know the locations. I've had to set up my own script basically to do that. But yeah, you know, obviously it's a working project. I do everything myself. This is my own homemade projects. I do this from home. I'm not getting paid for it. I get paid for applications on the Play Store, not enough to survive off of really. And well, I'd like feedback. I'd love feedback. I'd love to be sponsored. At the end of the day, I'm not really here to try and get money out of people. This is why I'm not charging for my ISOs. I could do with the money, but beggars can't be choosers, you know. And in my eyes, I look at it as, you know, would I pay for my ISO? Being that I make everything, I make the application in the ISO. I provide everything basically. Obviously, the packages that are missing. I've got my own terminal. And it took me ages to build this terminal, and I've lost this now. So I don't know how this one's going to go. But I've got my own terminal that works perfectly fine. You know, we can LS, we can find packages and whatever else are in here. We can run sudo commands. We can run the system scripts to make things easier, so you don't have to type commands. We've got theme apps, we've got custom scripts. What custom scripts have we got? Oh, we've got an app image converter, so you can select an app image and install it into the system applications directory. We can change your mirrors. Oh, you can change your mirrors from normal mirrors to Arch testing mirrors, KDE stable mirrors. We can switch back to normal mirrors. We can also enable multi-lib testing. We can also enable multi-lib. Now, of course, for this to work, I've had to do a lot of testing. This didn't work at the start. I had a lot of problems with the mirror changer breaking the system. So I've fixed that now, obviously due to tests. I'm pretty sure you can now start Bohr and start Stacia, although it has been a while since I've checked this function. Please bear with me, some of these might not work, although most of them do. So you can change the GPU drivers, you can use the updater. You can't upgrade to the AKG full, which will be app images, and I will be doing that at some point. I haven't got my head around that yet. You can create a backup. Well, you could, because Penguin's Eggs likes to break things, and which is why I'm making this in the first place. So we've got a lot of options, and of course the main aim of this script here was to add a function that will allow you to get back to the main menu. So that doesn't help, that doesn't work. The delete pacman lock function, I'm pretty sure I did add the sudo to that, so if there was a pacman lock, we could remove that. You can open a bash script, which seems really pointless, but it will work anyway. And you can also open Dolphin, because what else are you going to want to be doing? You know, you're in a terminal, you need a folder, you might need a script that's in a file, or you know, you might need to edit a script or something that will run into this, or something or the other. You know, you might need to manually delete the pacman lock. Now, I'd love to have it that Kate opens up as sudo, but we're not going to be doing that. It's not advisable to be opening Kate as sudo, and I'd rather not it just open directly as sudo. At the end of the day, you don't get what you normally get on your system if you do open it as sudo. So if we come here, a prime example of what I'm talking about is you can see places, and of course on my Arch ISOs at the moment, this here doesn't exist. And you can go to edit and you can change this. And now we'll be fixing this. I'm fully aware of this problem. So we can come here, we change that to this, and then we go to home. We can see home now. But of course you can see the desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, videos, wastebin. You know, you can see most of the things that you would normally see as a normal user. Now when you go to sudo, because I make my own scripts, of course, I'm going to be using my own script to open Dolphin as root. So this is my own script that I've created to open Dolphin as root. And as you can see, you don't get the normal layout of what you would see because we're running as root. The root hasn't got these folders. There isn't the root account is not fully set up because we don't want all the extra files. We don't want to duplicate all the packages that are installed under my account into root now. We'd have two big massive accounts. So of course root account is just a basic account to run sudo commands or whatever else you need to do, you know. So them folders don't actually work. But yeah, here's obviously what I do. I do a lot of things. I create service menus. I did create a browser. I had a good browser at one point. We could possibly look at that right now. So I've got a lot of things that I did work on. I had a package manager, a zip package manager, so you can back up a zip, back up a package, an Arch package into a zip and install it on a new system. I actually tried to make my own net installer at one point. Taskbar buttons was made. We've got all these funky names on here. I'm all over the place. This is clutter people, you know. I'd love to give some of these scripts to people and give them some inspiration. You know, what can you learn from this script? How can you make it better? You know, some of the projects that I haven't got the time for, some people might actually be able to make better or find useful. So we've got all these different things that I've created. Theme changer core scripts. So some of these are going to be my system app. We've got GPU drivers. All of this has been basically broken now. We've got the cloner. I've got all these random names. I'll be honest, I got annoyed at one point, and this is why I'll just put it into a folder and just put it, you know, out of the way. So like, I actually made a game. I'm pretty sure I made a game. Let's have a. So you've got a free roam game. I don't know how good this is going to be. We don't need no Python modules. It's worth a try. So I was making a new file. If we run this, will it work? Because we've got new. If we copy this, because the new volume has got a space in between it, and that's why it can't generate, can't find the file. So if we actually go here, I know we're just adding more clutter to my system, it's fine. As long as we're not deleting files that are already made. If we run this, we can see we've got some basic game that just basically allows you to move around. There's a lot of things you can do with the bot that I use to make applications or whatever else, you know. This is just a bit of fun. Obviously this is just a basic free roam block game. It's pants, I'll be honest. It's not very fun, is it? It's not on the run. You ain't getting chased by blocks. I tried build root. That's a good one. Whatever this is, we can have a look at. So that'll just basically run a website. I'm pretty sure that was like the basis of a browser, because I actually built a browser, a GTK3 browser, and it was pretty good. If I can find that, then I'm more than happy to share and show that. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that today. But I thought I'd do a video anyway. I'm probably not going to be doing many videos after this video. Anytime soon, to be honest. Maybe we've got all my Rust applications and whatever else that I used to use, build in some of my videos. We've got an Android APK, so we had like an Android APK. If we make that, let's see where that got. So some of the projects I've put to rest for the minute, whilst I focus on other things that I'm wanting to fix, you know. I'm not too sure if this Android APK will work, but no, that's why it don't work. So I will just give up on it. I've got more important things to focus on. You know, I'm more happy sitting there creating things like this. Cloner. This is how many times I tried to make a cloner. And if we check the dates on these, we can see when I actually give up on the project. So we're looking at around about July, is that? I don't know, because I don't speak Italian and my system set up as Italian at the moment. If we go to the bottom, we have a look and see what it says. Can it translate? It seems like you mentioned a date in July. Yeah, it was a good random guess. So we got all these attempts, should we call it. We've got some games. I've lost a lot of stuff. I really am gutted about it, but you see, I got like a Sys Linux, I got ISO. We tried all these different things that didn't work, and I just, at one point, obviously, just shoved it into a folder and forgot about it. Well, I didn't forget about it. It's obviously still here. App image. I'm basically making videos and doing what I'm doing to inspire people as well. At the end of the day, you know, there is a lot of things I've put on my SourceForge. So if you go to my SourceForge, you can get templates to make applications. You know, I haven't really wrote a step-by-step how or whatever else. You know, so that I could give some ideas of what you could do. But I haven't done anything like that. I've basically provided different templates for different languages, and of course I have specified to use a bot, which some people will obviously have a go at me about. Why are you using a bot? You know, at the end of the day, this is what I do, and I actually got the information about the bot off of a KDE dev. So if we go to tutorials, we've got no downloads recently because I haven't updated. When we go to application making, I actually provide templates. So we've got Bash templates, we've got Rust templates, QML templates, C++ templates, Python templates, and we've got app image templates. So if you want to make an application, there is templates here. And of course each one of them has, some of them have more information than the others. I'm not too sure which one will. So the Rust template is only 2 buttons, I believe, to open Dolphin and something else. QML templates are my old system app templates. Bash templates are some of the old scripts I used to use in my system app. App image template is my GPU template. My Python templates is GPU drivers template, so you can download that file and just look at the code. So I'm not just doing this, you know, to show what I do, you know, because that would just be boring. I want to see what other people do as well. GTK Browser Master. That would be nice. So this is like an early terminal that I was making, and I gave the code to the Penguins Eggs dev and said, why don't you use some of the information. Of course, I've lost a lot of files, and we're under a folder that's really not a good name to be showing, but it is what it is. Hey, the browser, right? Let's have a look. Python. Well, this is the problem. It's written in Python, so I can't actually open it. Maybe this will work. I don't know which one's which now, so we have got an ENV, and there is a way to do it. There is a way to do it. It's to activate my ENV. Yeah, that's it. So I know bash commands, but come on, you know, I'm not doing the same bash commands every single day of the week, so I wouldn't know. It might take a minute or something, I don't know. Might have to sudo it. Thing is, I haven't got a lot of. Oh yeah, might have to sudo it. I haven't got no Python or pip modules installed because I've come away from Python and pip now. I don't know what this is doing, but there is that file there, and it might not be my env, it might be env, or it might be generating an env. VNV my env, what? Which don't help because well, I wanted to really show this browser. It was quite a good setup. Obviously it's written in Python, which doesn't help the situation of not wanting to use Python. I don't think this is it. That's not the command. It's source. The command is source. Source my... Yeah, there it is. Sorry people. Where was we? Isn't it? Yeah. Right, now, if we copy that location and we Python, because we're not on Debian, we can just Python it. Can't open such a file. What we'll do is we'll copy this env and that file. I'll just be about 2 minutes. It might take a minute, so give me about a minute. Alright, I'm back. We're going to see where we can get with this because I don't know if it's going to work or not. So we did copy the files to here. If we come here, we close the right terminal. Keep the other one open because we're actually using that one. If we source source that. This might work, it might not work people, since it is an old file. So source code cannot contain null bytes, so there's like nothing there. Well, this can't be null bytes, surely. This has got to be something. What if we just run it? libpython3. No such directory. Oh, there's no internals. He's looking for an internals. Ah, don't help. We could do this. So we could. We try this. This might actually be the browser app. So see. Python. We can't find the file now because it's not in the right place. We're just copying junk now. So things that don't work that I've tried in the past that should work. And of course that I've lost a lot of it now. I don't know which ones will work. So. Anyway, I need the back end, so let's have the back end. Here's your back end. Close that. There's your back end, Doctors. Right, how many did we have? Now what? What are we missing now? Let's copy that. See what we need. We need that. Well, that helps. It's not even a browser. So this is like my old setup for my system tool, which didn't have a browser, and you could change all the. This was the old terminal. It didn't work basically, so I could run commands that wouldn't work basically, so it wasn't worth it. So that was meant to be the browser, which it clearly wasn't. So that was a waste of time. What else have we got? Yeah, this is like an old version of my terminal, way before I even had anything command working. Got some old pictures, 2 files, 202 remake, terminal app, let's see that. So this is some old setups. Of course, this ain't working. Now, I'm pretty sure I did go through these files and I found one that did work at one point, but I'm not too sure we're going to be able to find that today. We can have a little look at some things. There's a lot of folders and different names and weird names. It's me trying to make an arsehole before I even had the knowledge. Retro Arts, just trying to make all this. Ghost, Element, Part 3, usually done. Yeah, none of this will have that terminal in it. My stuff maybe. So I've got some old stuff in here, like crap. Cubic, so I was trying to use Cubic. I've got my old Linux glowing slider. I've had to edit 63, is it? 60 different photos just for my loader to work, and as you can see it basically moves along, I don't know how else to put it, moves along the screen when you load into my ISO. Python scripts, we've got some old Python scripts, core scripts, whatever, for my old distribution updates. Extras maybe, photos. Stratnal, maybe, might have something in here. Windows 11. We've got some Windows 11, Wide Spark, some YAD. I used to do YAD. Yeah, this was probably about 5 months ago. This ain't gonna have anything. Fruity Loops, maybe? No. Yeah. Fruity FL Engine. I don't know what that could be. Falafel, I don't think it's going to be in there. Sketchy is my new. If anything, it would have been on USB. But this is the thing, you've got so many files we just don't know. And then we've got like an old terminal. This is an old terminal. I had a browser, pre-built browser with green buttons, and it was GTK free, and we could open up YouTube in full screen, and we could save the history, and it was just a basic template of a terminal, of a browser, and it worked. That's what I'm trying to find, but I guess the day's not with me today. I'm quite tired with what I'm doing, and I've been at it maybe for the best part of 2 days now. Well, I did come away from it. So I'm probably just going to leave it there, people. I'm obviously not finding what I need. Some of these don't work, and some of these obviously are just old projects that I tried. It would be nice to just put these in a folder and say, right, this is this, this is this, this is this, but I ain't got the time for it. If anything, it would be like one of my, if someone in my family wanted to try and have a go at some of my projects, I could send them a few of these or whatever else, and say, right, this is some of the things that I used to do, why don't you get some inspiration from it? So, well, that's most likely what I would be doing if I did. Other than that, I really don't know what else to say or doing this video. I just really wanted to show, some of the things that I am doing moving forward, and just provide that. Obviously, this should be done within a few hours, if not tomorrow or the day after. It really is down now to 2 files. So the 2 files were the mount folder, and of course we need the Calamares set up to be set up properly. So you'd have to have the application installed on your system, and when you're copying, and then obviously when you boot the ISO, you run the application, you come to the tools and extras, you go to configure install, you mount your ISO first, then you configure Calamares, and then you will start Calamares. But you can start Calamares normally with just the installer. So if we go here, we've got install system, which is normally something that gets used. Of course, Calamares will be a dependency now, so we'll be adding that into here as well. If we close the right file, just make sure that's still open. So Calamares would be a dependency, and I don't actually know how to compile Calamares from source, so I will be looking into that next time. Tried it before, but I was having a problem with KMP Core, so I tried it before. And of course there is a GitHub to how to install Calamares. Well, if you go to the Calamares website, there is the recipe for Calamares. If we go to Calamares and go to the website, you can find how to build it from source. I'm pretty sure what is Calamares knowledge base is. You download it. I'm pretty sure do you download it, or I think you download it and then build it. We can have a look at this quick now just before I go. This will be something I'll be doing in the future, because of course if I'm making an ISO creator, we're going to need Calamares. Now the plan was to make my own installer. It isn't looking too good. Yeah, so basically what you do is you install all of the dependencies that are needed for this to compile, and what it does is it compiles and installs it. Just like you would when you're compiling the KD dev or the betas, which are not a thing anymore, because obviously it's KD dev now, which I do provide. Funny enough, I did show that in my last video. I wouldn't say this is the latest KD dev, although it wasn't too long ago that I did do this, so it would have been within a month. But you can download the KD Dev from my SourceForge, and then it's going to extract it into the right place, and then you set it up, and then you can launch it. So you need the file for that to work. There's no point me doing that. For some reason, yeah. So it's going to take you to Mega, which is where the file is. You download the file, you extract it, which is what the setup thing is. Once you've downloaded it, it's going to ask you for the zip. It's going to extract it in the right place, and then you can start it. You have to start it every time you boot. And I've done that because if you get any issues with the dev, then you of course can use the normal system. So if we go here, this will tell you the date that it was made, which is why I put the date. You download this zip, should I say? You download this zip, and then you use the button that I just showed to unzip the file in where it needs to be. It will unzip it to where it needs to be, and then there's a script that I've got with the which will configure your system to use that file and load into the KD Dev, which would normally, to be honest, it doesn't even use Reef anymore. They've not got Reef, they've got some new blue. So, KD Dev image. If I can show that, similar to that, I think. No. They've changed it to something else now. It's like a blue logo. I'm not too sure if that's what they're going to be using. And changing the image every time you make an update isn't really advisable, to be honest. I make different distributions based on photos and colours, so it makes sense. But the new KD Dev 6.2 image isn't Reef anymore. So there is a beta. When did that come out? So I haven't been up to date with this stuff. I thought the beta was finished. Anyway, I don't use betas. If there is a beta, I'll probably use the beta. I'll be more stable than the dev. But the dev is here anyway. This is the dev. It's 6.2. Like I said, that's the date. So if you wanted to install it with my system tool, which you can download on the Play Store, by the way, you can download the latest update. Then you can download it, send it to this link, download this, extract it, and set it up and boot it. And what it do is run a bash script that will launch the dev on top of yours. You'd have to keep it actually even says in the application, you've got to keep the terminal open when you're doing it. Otherwise, if you close the terminal, your taskbar will disappear. So the terminal needs to stay open. I'm pretty sure the application needs to stay open. Not too sure. I will be looking into the features of that soon, because that was a relatively new feature I did add. Yeah, you got any ideas, anything to add into my distributions? As you've seen, the CachyOS dev actually wants to take me on. He reckons I'm good at what I do, because this is the second time now I've helped him. I've obviously shown what I did. Help him with today, because one of his one of his users is obviously having an issue, and I've said straight away, right, go to the CachyOS repos and download the packages from there. You know, obviously you're using CachyOS. I'm not trying to, force you into using my distribution, but the option is there, so I sent them obviously the link for it. And I said at the end of the day, if you don't want to go that route, here is all the packages, and provided the packages and the repos and everything else, So he's got options. He's not just, download my ISO, it'll work straight away, which I know it will, because obviously I built it for that purpose. AMD GPUs, because I was having the issue myself. I was using the KD Beta 6.1. I built it from source on top of Arch Manjaro, because I was using Manjaro at the very, very, very start, which would have been about 2.5 months ago. So when I first made Arch 2 years ago, I wasn't using Manjaro. I was respinning Nobara, Manjaro. I was making my own Arch. I was doing this, And basically, I got to the point where I was making my own Arch on Manjaro at one point, and obviously it broke. And then since then, I've been doing it from Arch install. So I actually use my own repos because I don't agree with going third-party repos. Things could break. People don't know how to install AMD GPU drivers correctly. And it isn't just down to the fact of installing Mesa and, you know, known AMD drivers. It's not. There's a specific package, and I'm pretty sure it's FBdev that's missing. And basically, you will install the ISO. You get to the ISO, boot in, log in, whatever. You install it. As soon as you reboot, you will have no login screen, and that's down to this one package that's not installed. And like I say, it might be FBdev because it is a package that I do use, and I can show all the packages that are installed in my system because I ran a command for it. So we got 1,628 packages, 1,268 packages, and these are all of the packages on my system, every single one of them. And of course, we know Manjaro, and we know now that Manjaro and also CachyOS do not know the recipe to set up their distribution for AMD GPUs. And my friend is only using an AMD APU. He's only using an AMD APU. He's got the same issue I had with a GPU, which was AMD. So it obviously clearly shows that some people are just not educated enough. They're uneducated. They need to do more research. And of course, I know CachyOS is more of an at-home distribution. It's made at home. You know, I'm not saying I'm the best of the best, but at the end of the day, you can clearly see, you know, I know what I'm doing. I've not just been sat on a computer for pretty much every other day for 2 years and not learning anything. I built my distribution for myself because I was running on AMD and I knew what I needed to look at. I was having problems and I thought, alright, let's go var log and let's look at, you know, what's loading. So what loads, this is actually the file that you look at to see what's not working. You're probably saying, but you're running Wayland, because I am running Wayland. But at the end of the day, yeah, Plasma was still nested X Wayland, under Wayland. How can I put it? So there was still nesting X or on top of Wayland for a long time. I don't know if they changed that, but it was on their website. But this is how I found out what packages was missing. And of course, I've told my friend on the CachyOS chat to look at this folder, and well, hopefully he'll get back to me in a few hours, say that he's fixed it. But yeah, like I said, clearly shows that some people are just not educated enough. If you're doing it from home, fair enough, there's going to be errors, there's room for improvement, which is why I've told the CachyOS dev, you know, the need to know, you know, this is what I did to fix the issue, and this could possibly be the package. And he straight away said, you know, we should make a distribution together. Well, I don't just make distributions, I make applications, and here we go. I make an application to make your ISO for your distribution. But that is it for today. Hope you've enjoyed my video. I'm probably going to go to sleep. I'm quite tired. I've been at it for a few hours now, and the video of this video has really drained me. Drinking all these energy drinks ain't healthy. The old Lucozade blueberry, still got a little bit in there. When this ISO creation tool's finished, probably put out one more video, and then I'm going to move on to my ISOs. So I'm going to make my ISOs a little bit better, and obviously I want to be doing proper presentations on Facebook, probably do YouTube live videos or whatever else. I could see what I could do to try and get my distribution out a bit more at the end of the day. You know, I'm not on the Distro Watch website, you know. I'm on the GTA Inside website, all over it, you know, from back in the day. It doesn't mean I'm the best modifier, whatever, but I've got some big mods, I'm telling you. You know, my map mods, some of my map mods were big, and there was nothing like it. One of a kind, just like this application right here. One of a kind, sailing the 7 seas. And it's a bye from me.